Welcome to Trending in Education. Mike Palmer joined by Melissa Griffith here today. We're recording this on International Women's Day. Melissa, you're an international woman, so congratulations. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you. I noticed I did not get a gift from you today, but whatever, that's cool. It's not like my birthday or anything, so it's fine. It's just International Women's Day.
Yeah, and we wanted to make sure we recognize that, and we tried to address one of the things I'm trying to get better at is noticing my own biases and then understanding when they might be reflected in what we're doing as a show. So I think it's good to recognize it is International Women's Day and that there are many cases where women are not recognized in the same way that men are. There's a really interesting Forbes article that we wanted to spend a couple minutes on, as we're talking about this, which talks about the top 50 futurists who are women, and that spurred a bit of a conversation between us. So I think it's an interesting idea that there are 50 women who are calling themselves futurists out there. Why haven't we talked to them yet? And that's something that I think it's on us to see whether they'd be willing to talk to us. But it also opens up some questions about what is a futurist? Do men tend to do things like call themselves futurists more than women? What are your thoughts on this, Melissa?
One, a couple of things. These 50 women, I'm not 100% sure they're calling themselves futurists or Forbes just decided to call them futurists. I think these women were doing really cool things and they're good about living their lives, and now Forbes is hyping them, rightfully so. In terms of men calling themselves futurists, and I think men tend to just call themselves things more often than women tend to do.
That's probably true.
That's I don't. It's International Women's Day. Give me some.
Go for it.
Wait. But I think the thing about this, and you and I both know every time it comes up, I'm like, I don't understand what a futurist is.
Yes.
But so here's my best understanding, and then you can put on your own spin on it. Futurist is someone who is doing stuff that is looking to change the world, that's futuristic, working in the cutting edge of technology, doing things in a much more innovative way that will likely change the world. The way Forbes actually describes it is these are the women that are shaping the future and then encouraging and inspiring other women to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's in that sense, there are probably a lot more futurists out there than are probably calling themselves that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. And I don't know if we technically call ourselves futurists on this show. It is a trend spotting show, so we're always thinking of. What's that?
I'm not calling myself a futurist.
Oh, you are? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've decided today.
Nice.
Guys, you heard it here first. I'm a futurist.
Nice. Melissa became a futurist today. Okay, cool. Then I'm officially a futurist too. But also, I wonder if there is other language that might be better or more interesting too. But yeah, and I do think it's it's kind of on us to source guests and think about topics and content, and not just on the it happens to be International Women's Day, but I think you look at any dimension, aside from going to what's easy and the group who and your own network is likely going to be biased and limited in certain ways. So what I like about an article like this, and I do appreciate that it's out there, is that it is a list of 50 visionary leaders who have interesting work that they're doing, and I think they'd be really great conversations for us to have. So I think in honor of that, we will be reaching out to these women, see which among them may be able to attend a show, and then if for whatever reason you happen to be a futurist of any stripe, we'd love to talk to you if you're listening to this show too. So open invite, although we'll see where that goes, to folks who view themselves as futurists, because I think it's an interesting conversation to have. But yeah, I think just breaking our habits, breaking anyone's sort of routines in terms of who you talk to about stuff, and then also canvassing your own guests and the people that you have conversations with to check yourself for where there might be patterns. So I know we've talked to at least two people who call themselves, actually I don't know if Rohit calls himself a futurist, but I know Brian Alexander calls himself a futurist. Chris Mayer may call himself a futurist. He definitely curates a lot of content that is future facing. And then Rohit Bhargava, I think he may not call himself, I think he calls himself a trend curator, because I think he has some issues with the way, people who call themselves futurists, Rohit likes to say, you ask a futurist whether their prediction came true, they either say yes or not yet. So I think the idea is that
Oh, I like that.
it's really good. I steal that from him on the regular. It's when we can ask each of these, any women who, by the way, if you want to prep for the show, you're going to get asked that question.
Yeah.
But I know until today, I don't believe we've had a woman on the show who called herself a futurist.
Yeah, and I trust Rohit, so I'm partly going to take it back now.
I don't know.
I'm going to do some more talk. I'll let you guys know next week.
But anyway, we'll share this article out. I think it was an interesting take. And we do appreciate that Blake Morgan did the work to put this list together. We love lists, and we love figuring out who might be interesting guests to talk about the future. Interestingly, if you are a learning and education trend spotting show, I have found that anyone who's thinking about the future needs to think about the learning implications that are going to drive the change that's necessary to change the future. There's a lot of communication involved in being someone who's a thought leader with some vision for where the future is going. But we also may want to zero in particular on folks within the list who may be more focused on stuff that's directly relevant to learning and education. So more to come on that. But as we're wrapping up on International Women's Day, Melissa, any closing thoughts?
No, I think having a day this has always been an interesting thing for me. If you much want to know my thoughts on it. I long for the world where you no longer need to do days or months, that it's just something that happens. But as the International Women's Day, it's an important event right now to shed a light on equality for all. I'm looking forward to the future where this does not exist.
Right. And it's also Women's History Month, right?
It is.
Yeah. So I still have time to get you a gift.
You do, but as I said, it's not even my birthday, so don't worry about it.
Right. The gift is these shows, you know.
Yes, anytime I can do a show like this, I'm having a good day.
Awesome. So interesting article. Thanks to everyone who's contributing out there, everyone who's thinking about International Women's Day and trying to elevate consciousness. And we may or may not be calling ourselves futurists. So that's something that'll be an ongoing conversation. Thanks again for listening.